Welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I am Connor Williams, joined by Cal Brannan, and we'll be discussing a number of things on the live stream. I think it's only right to start off with the news that Frank Lampard has supposedly signed a 2-year deal. That was as of Paul Joyce about an hour ago, 2.5-year deal at Everton. Are you happy with this, Cal?
Yeah, it's a big name in a sense, but not in a managerial way. I think Lampard did well at Chelsea, in the first season anyway. I think, every manager at Chelsea doesn't really get the chance. Lampard was ninth, but what was it like? They were on the same amount of points that they had this season at the same point. So, he's clearly, he wasn't the best at Chelsea, but at the same time, he was inexperienced. And I think when he comes to Everton, I've read everything I've read about him being, willing to work with the board, even if they're difficult and things, he sounds, committed to the club. And if your first signing is Donny van der Beek on loan, it's a really good start for us. I think the best part about Lampard is we're going to see a lot more of the youth integrated, in my opinion. I think Anthony Gordon will start most games now. I think you'll see players like Dobbin be given more chances. I do see Dobbin becoming striker number 2 now over Rondon, personally. I just don't, even though at the same time, Lampard did like Giroud, so I don't know. So it's quite difficult. But, we'll have to see. I'm quite optimistic going into the Newcastle game, even though they've just signed one of the best defensive midfielders in Europe.
Is that Bruno Guimaraes?
Yeah. He's progressing the ball anyway. To put it simply, he's exactly what we needed.
Yeah, I saw that they got him before. It's a bit envious. I think he were linked with him over the summer as well, which makes it 10 times worse.
We were linked with him this January, but it was in the summer, us and Arsenal, because they wanted 40 million. They'd have accepted 25 or 30, I think it was. So Newcastle have just obviously gone up and gone, we'll give you the 40 you want. There you go.
Well, yeah, if you're Newcastle, you've got the money to burn, haven't you? It's not as bad as watching Luis Diaz sign for Liverpool. That's a really.
Do you know what though? Didn't one of us say this were going to happen? I swear one of us said we're not going to sign him and he's going to sign for Liverpool. I'm convinced one of us said it on a live stream.
Probably it's just typical Everton, isn't it?
Yeah,
but it's one of them, isn't it? I agree with what you're saying about Lampard, though. I think we will see more youth. I know what you mean about him liking Giroud, but I mean Rondon, even with his goals in the internationals recently.
Machine, hat-trick.
Yeah, I know. Amazing, isn't it? God, he must have been scoring against some right farmers. But yeah, I mean, I'm on the fence about him. I think he's Lampard, that is. I think he's inexperienced still, but I mean, so were the other two it was going to be him, Rooney, or Duncan Ferguson. Neither of them have a plethora of experience in football management.
And Dunk's staying on, isn't it? Because it looks like all the lads Lampard's bringing in. Is Jody Morris joining?
I saw some news break before. I'll have a double check now on the news, but I believe Paul Clement is going to be offered it because Anthony Barry's expected to stay at Chelsea.
Yeah. Would Clement be assistant manager or just a coach, though?
I don't know, because I think he's been assistant manager, hasn't he?
He was Carlo's assistant at Chelsea, Bayern, I think.
Yeah, and Steve Holland's meant to be rumoured to be one of the ones coming in as well. He's also could be an assistant.
I don't know if he'll... I don't know, because having the World Cup in December would be awkward for him then, wouldn't it? I think leave, go straight to the World Cup, come back, be thrust straight back into it, especially, if him and... I don't know if we're going to bring in a director of football or someone or help with transfers, but if
I've heard rumours that the director of football is meant to be Tim. I've heard rumours that Tim Kerr's being offered a football position at the club, and a couple have said it might be the director of football job.
Yeah, but you know what, though? At least
he's got experience.
He's got experience as a director of football, hasn't he? Didn't he do it for a Belgian club?
Yeah, he works at UPenn, and he's got a academy over in Qatar, apparently.
So to be fair, at least he'll know the model of players who've played for Everton, and at least he's got experience. You know what I mean? I don't think any of the top director of footballs would have joined us anyway.
Yeah, so he's well liked.
He's really well liked. He's a blue through and through, and I feel like I've heard his analysis when he talks about football. He clearly, he knows what the modern game's about. So let's hope that's something that translates through to his work.
His Coach's Voices interview he did on YouTube was quite good.
Yeah, so let's
Really
hope. And he's going to be someone who only wants the best for Everton, and then hopefully, maybe with him, he'll set a structure up. And because he's an Everton legend, Moshiri might actually listen to him.
Yeah,
if he says, we want managers who play this football this way, players who fit this system. Moshiri might go, well, that's Tim Cahill saying that, so I've got to listen. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. But saying that, there's been names that I thought he'd listened to before then. I've seen a couple. I must agree though, the fact that Lampard's come out and said he's happy to work with the what looks like from the outside the mess that is Everton Football Club. That impresses me. And like I said, he's a bit of a gamble, but the people he's rumoured to be surrounding himself with, the likes of Clement, Holland, they're very good backroom staff, and apparently he's had these prepped for. I'm surprised Barry isn't joined, because apparently he's had these joined, sort of created for a while. This group, hasn't he? Ready for when he does take his. But it's
Chelsea, isn't it?
Yeah, it does seem like he's bringing the Chelsea boys back.
I don't mind. I think I liked Morris.
I mean, is it the worst thing if you're taking a load of people that worked at a club that's is the European champions and has won Premier Leagues?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Is it the worst thing to do?
No, exactly. You know what I mean? It's better than Rafa Benitez's coaching staff, who were meant to be fitness experts, and then we were getting injured every 2 minutes.
Exactly. I've got more faith, and these are quite renowned names as well, especially the likes of Holland and Clement. They're renowned names. So
I'll say Holland. I'll say because Clement. Am I thinking of the same Clement who managed Swansea? Who brought in Renato Sanchez? Or is that Paul Clement?
I think someone's just put in the chat here that that's Steve Clement. I think he's saying. No, Paul Clement did manage Swansea.
Yeah, and Paul Clement was Carlo's assistant. There was something Clement was Carlo's assistant or a coach to Carlo. All are all meant to be Paul Clement, Joe Edwards, Chris Jones all meant to be joining. Jody Morris, Anthony Barry, and Steve Holland are not meant. It's Paul Clement. Yeah, I thought so. I am right. Paul Clement, who managed Swansea and brought in Renato Sanchez because of his links to Carlo Ancelotti.
Yeah, he did manage. He did.
I thought he was still managing. I thought he'd be managing out in like China or something.
No, he was at Cercle Bruges in Belgium for about a year and finished in 2021.
Ah, right. So, I mean, if you're Carlo Ancelotti's assistant, you've got to be pretty good at your job.
Yeah, I saw. I think it was Owen who does stuff on the channel saying he's surprised that Ancelotti didn't bring him in himself. So
it'll be because he was an actual manager, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Or he might have just wanted an actual managerial position, and now he's realised, I don't think I'm going to get that. So I'll take him. The fella's clearly good at what he does if Carlo Ancelotti likes him.
We just got it there. Paul Clement, Joe Edwards, and Chris Jones, are all meant to be joining. Jody Morris, Anthony Barry, and Steve Holland aren't meant to be. I guess that's sort of, breaks it. That's sort of for Holland. The World Cup is the big one.
I was going to say no chance because he'd have to talk to the FA. Then the FA would have to allow it.
Yeah, a couple of people. Just give a quick shout out to Mike from the Blues Boys Network. Nice to see you, mate. Nice to see you in the chat. A couple of other people are on about Clement. This is one, obviously, we'll get on to Donny van der Beek as well, and the other possible centre mid that is being rumoured. But Eugene McGeever's put, I think Everton will do more signings tomorrow with deadline day incomings. And coincidentally, Maddock reckons, is it David Maddock, the writer for the Daily Mail, reckons that we've got 4 Lampard, at least 2, potentially 3 to 4 signings coming in tomorrow.
That's got to be signings, does it? Because we can't sign anyone else on loan, can we? Or no one else from the Premier League.
Yeah, we've used our 2 domestic loans up on El Ghazi.
Send El Ghazi back. Get rid of him. Send El Ghazi back and beg Chelsea for Callum Hudson-Odoi. Send Lampard grovelling on his knees.
I'd quite like Loftus-Cheek as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have to wait and see who we get.
Tomorrow is going to be, I think, for Everton fans anyway, it's going to be mental because all of a sudden,
quite like it, mate. I quite like the excitement of deadline day actually
I
meaning
don't
something.
though, because it's like, do you know what I hate about Everton deadline day? Is I'm not going to say his name again because we did this last time deadline day. That geezer on Sky Sports, and he frustrates the life out of me because he sits there and he's like, oh yeah, guess what? Everton are about to sign Cristiano Ronaldo, and you're just like, eh. He just brings up these players, and you're just like, they're not signing Basuma. It was Basuma last time.
Was it that or Edouard?
He spent all deadline day saying we were going to sign Basuma or Edouard, and we signed none of them.
Yeah, it's the journalist you got to take with a pinch of salt, including Maddock, because someone said the other day that he basically confirmed Vitor Pereira was getting the job, and then
don't trust anyone who works for the Daily Mail.
So we'll have to wait and see. But I quite like it. I mean, there's been a couple of deadline days where nothing happens, and then there's been some good Everton deadline days. It feels like one of those. Well, it feels a bit like the good old days of 4 people coming in. We'll discuss the first one, and it looks like he probably will be announced hopefully after the manager, because that would make more sense with Everton.
They might do it together.
They might do them together, actually. That would be quite but it's Donny van der Beek. Do you like the look of this? I was saying this before. It's a bit tough to judge him on his England sort of career.
I think he is a good player, and I think it's very clear that as a midfield talent, he's better than what we've got. He's miles better. Didn't he? First game for United, came off the bench and scored. Against Palace, I think, or something like that. When he first joined, before he got, I think he is very talented. I think he may need to adapt to the English game, and I think having 2 runners like Doucouré and Alan besides him would help, because he's got to be playing free in the midfield. Well, obviously when Doucouré is back, because Doucouré's out for 4 weeks, isn't he?
Yeah. I think he is probably going to slot into that. He plays a 4-3-3, doesn't he, Lampard?
Yeah. So that's. Oh wait. So who's he going to play instead of? I hope we sign someone. I try to like Andre Gomez, but just I can't. We need someone who's got a bit about him, about everything. Someone who can do a bit of everything. Van der Beek kind of fits that profile, but I think Van der Beek would like to get forward, which is why the Crystal Palace move confused me so much at first. Because I was like, him and Colin Gallagher are going to have conflicting interests, because at Ajax, I think he was the one who got forward, and then it was Frankie de Jong basically sat in front of the defence and did all the work there. I've seen a lot about Garner Gueye coming back.
He's the other one we'll go on to speak about in a bit.
I wouldn't mind that, because I think Alan, I don't really think he's a proper, pure 6, if you know what I mean. Someone who just exclusively sits in front of the defence, I don't think that's him. I think he likes to drive the ball forward, and I think having him and Garner Gueye next to each other, then it kind of gives Alan a bit more freedom, because he's shown that he can dribble with the ball plenty of times.
Yeah, I was saying this to my dad when we were playing Villa. He's for a guy who's defensive. He's really good at close feet dribbling and moves with a bit of pace about him.
Yeah, definitely. Because then the thing is as well, Gueye is the guy. I don't understand how he wins the ball so much. It's like the one season I remember. I think it was when he either finished top for tackles for us or just behind N'Golo Kante.
Yeah.
And every time someone would go near him, he'd tackle him. It was guaranteed.
Yeah, I don't know if I hope he's not dropped off while he's been in Paris, but
he don't look like it. I mean, bloody hell, he played great. I remember he smashed it against Man City. I know he scored, but in every sense of it, he was winning the ball. He were even driving the ball upfield. He looked like he was enjoying getting forward, and so I'd love it just to get back. I think he's been playing though.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think he's. I'm surprised that they might be willing to let him go. I don't know how much truth is in this, to be fair, for that reason alone. It's not like he's not getting football.
Well, wait, I think they might have finally dropped him for Paredes, but Paredes is apparently on the shopping block as well. So unless I know they want Pogba, so maybe that's why.
They're after another midfielder, and they've got too many midfielders at the minute. So they're looking to offload before they, sign another one.
Yeah, I'd 100% take him back. But how much for? He's 32, 33. So I wouldn't really want us to pay more than 10 million for him.
Yeah, and we'll have to buy him, I think, because, well, I guess we could try and push for a loan.
we could loan him because, you know, we can use foreign loans. I think you can have 3 loan players in your squad, and then, you know, and then obviously the rest of you have got to sit out for the game. So I think that's probably what we do, unless we want to loan someone a bit younger in from a foreign league. I don't know. This is the one reason it is quite exciting, is because I don't know in what direction we could go in, even though we'll go on the Everton approach and probably not sign anyone.
Yeah, it's a really tough one. I'm looking now at I've got some stats up for both Donny van der Beek and Idrissa Gueye, both from SofaScore and Who Scored. Van der Beek definitely looks more like the creative player, which I think we all knew. I mean, it is a bit hard to judge him off his United career because he's not exactly played many games.
Let me see if I can get his Ajax stats up. Well, you read it off the United ones.
I've got his Ajax. He was really good. Really scored 8 goals, 5 assists, but it's his key passes. He got 1.8 a game, which is something I think we're missing. Is that creative midfielder?
So I don't know what everyone in the chat thinks about expected goals and expected assists and stuff like that. I know it's quite a controversial topic, but because he doesn't play much for United, I feel like this would be probably the best approach we can take. So I've got his. If you want to see this, it's FB Ref. It's a good website. So for expected assists and for non-penalty expected goals, he's in for the assist one, he's in the top 2% of midfielders in Europe, and then in non-penalty XG, he's in the top 15, 16%. But at the same time, you've got to take that with a pinch of salt. He's not playing, but it also does show that even if those numbers drop a little bit, he will be good at, progressing. He's progressing the ball up the field isn't very good, but I don't really think that's a bad thing. I feel like that's more because he plays for United and that they have other players to progress the ball forward, not him. I feel like his job for us would be to progress the ball forward between midfield and attack. But yeah, he completes almost 2 dribbles a game when he does play. Something I think we're desperate for someone else to do that. And the easiest way to compare him is the similar players are players like Marcus Llorente, Decore is on there, Conor Gallagher, Jude Bellingham. They're the players in the mould that FB Ref links. So I can imagine the plan would be to have a proper 6 in the middle, or maybe 2, and then Decore and Van der Beek rotate, maybe.
Possibly, yeah.
Unless he wants to play both of them and go full heavy metal balls to the wall, press you like mental, and send our centre mids flying. Because I could see it being Alan who gets dropped, to be honest with you.
Possibly. To be fair, I think Alan is probably due a break. Just a couple of.
He plays way too much, man.
Yeah, I think you can sort of see after a couple of games he starts to look a bit legless, doesn't he? And seems to run himself into the ground a bit. But yeah, Van der Beek looks good. I mean, key strengths are mainly that he likes to lay off, do short passes. Essentially, I think he's going to be. He reminds me a bit of that Matthias Nunes that we're linked with in the summer. Sort of, he'll be the one to pass the ball to the assister. Occasionally he'll pick up the assist doing that, but more he'll look to get it, to the wingers or something like that so they lay it on for the strikers, which I'm all for. I think we really do lack a creative midfielder, somebody who can,
it's the Damari Gray show, isn't it? Because I think the problem with Everton's midfield is Decore is technical, but not technical enough, in a weird way. If you know what I mean? It's his passing.
Yeah,
his passing's okay, but then it's the pass that got intercepted by Jacob Ramsey against Villa, where he probably should have lifted the ball a bit instead of just playing it along the ground. But yeah, I think we need someone who can put it. Well, we said it after the Villa game. Yeah, we need someone who's got that final ball, someone who can just play that final pass to get us into a creative opportunity. And, I think Anthony Gordon can do that. I think Damari Gray is probably a better goal scorer, but I think he can do that also. But then from midfield, we've got no one. And I think that's why we were linked with Loftus-Cheek and with Van der Beek, or Van der Beek, or however it's pronounced. David said it's Beek. Do you know what? Van der Beek probably does sound more right. Yeah. It sounds like it makes a bit more sense. So I'll call him Van der Beek for the rest of the for the rest of the live stream. Yeah, so he's like, his numbers are great. Like, he was always getting in around 10 goals, getting close to 10 assists a season too. I don't expect that level of production for us. I don't expect him to come in and just score, assist. But I expect him to be the progressive player, the one who, like you said, maybe passes to the assist. The thing we were raving so much about that was what James Rodriguez did in those first few games. He'd pass to the assister. He'd help in the build-up of the goal. So I think that's something Van der Beek will do a lot. I think Van der Beek's also got a good gas tank. I don't know if I can get his precious stats up, but like at Ajax, I'm pretty sure they were really high. I don't know if I can get that up for a specific season. But I seem to remember him having really high pressing stats when he joined United.
Yeah, I think it's called like PPDA or something like that, isn't it?
Pass per defensive action. I'm not going to attempt it, but it's something to do with what they do. I think I can find it. So I think if we scroll down here, defensive actions, or does it? No, I don't think it has it. But I remember that being the one thing everyone raved about because like, oh, United are going to play really good high pressing football, and then they never played the poor lad.
No, I'm surprised United let him go, bearing in mind who their new manager is. A lot of people here have been quite excited about Donny, but someone mentioned earlier up that he's not been dropped now, but he is currently at the AFCON, which I think will cause complications. It's always hard to do it on sign players on internationals. Even in this day and age of all the technology, it seems to be, a little bit of a task. So I don't know how that affects it. To be completely honest, it'd be a shame because I think fans are loving seeing him back. It'd be interesting to see if we did. I think a loan would make sense.
I think with Donny Gueye, I think from what I've seen is he still has some fondness towards the club. So it might just be a thing where he hears Everton want him and he goes, yeah, for all we know, they've been talking to Donny Gueye for a few days now, and I would love Donny Gueye or someone at least in the mold of Donny Gueye. It doesn't have to be him, but someone in that mold. I'd love that. Hearing rumours of 9 p.m. announcement of Lampard, and if we have got Van der Beek on loan and El Ghazi, can we get Garner or Ali?
That's another one that's been heavily
linked. We can get Donny Gueye because he's foreign, and not because he's foreign, because he plays in a foreign league. And therefore, you can have more loans from players from a foreign league. You can only have 2 domestic ones. Dele Alli would have to be a purchase. And unless we can get Dele Alli for like less than 15 million, because for that, I don't think for a younger, because he's still young. What's he, 24, 25?
Yeah, problem with Dele Alli is he basically admitted, didn't he, the other day, he's going to wait to see who the manager was. So I'm going to assume out of them, Frank Lampard was probably the more appealing one.
Frank Lampard.
Yeah, he was probably the more appealing. I don't think Vitor Pereira inspired him.
No. If we pay cheap money for him, 100%, less than 20 million, less than 15, because the fella's barely played football. So I think less than 15 million, it's not much of a gamble on a young English player. And if he can even capture some of that form, then, I think he could, from Tottenham, then he could be a real asset. Damien puts here, are we not hindered again by FFP after having to pay Rafa off? I don't think so, because I think Digne's contract cleared up like 40 million.
And the sale as well. I mean, the Esk said on a Twitter space the other day, and he seems to know quite a lot about the money side of it. That obviously Benitez and co being paid off does go against us because it's spending, but I imagine the Digne transfer, not just his contract, but the fact we sold him for a bit of money, balances the books.
How long did he have left on his deal?
He'd signed recently like a 5-year contract, hadn't he? So I think he had like 3.5 to 4 years left on his contract.
3 years on his contract, then he's making 120 grand a week. This might be wrong here. Bang, times that by 4. Bang, times that. That's per month. There's 36 months times that. Bang. So his contract would have freed up about 17 million. So yeah, about 40 million would have been freed up just from the sale of him. So unless we're getting rid of someone else too, I don't know.
Mike said that about outgoings, but someone said, I don't think anybody wants him. The only outgoing that's sort of got any interest is Calvert-Lewin, and I don't believe the club are silly enough to sign our top striker, sell him on deadline day when we're this close to the bottom of the table. And I think he goes in the summer 100%.
Not for 60. Not for 60. I feel like if we sell him now, we say we want 7. We say we want 80. We say look at the situation we're in. Give us 80 million, and then. But I feel like the club would also have to have someone lined up. So I think it's just
you have
to tell them a ridiculous amount of money that they won't pay.
It'd have to be quick reaction as well by the club. No pondering, going, oh, what about him? What about or knowing Everton, they'll get Nketiah or something in a swap deal or something like that.
I think we always do okay with strikers though.
Or Aubameyang, we'll end up bloody asking for Aubameyang on loan or something daft like that.
I think we always do okay with strikers. I know we signed some clangers, but I think we always seem to have one 15 to 20 goal a season striker in and around the squad. I think that's the one. I'm trying to think of when was the time we last didn't have a good striker. Because the past few years Calvert-Lewin took a while, but in the end he arrived eventually. So I think the club's always been okay at finding strikers. I don't know if that's because Duncan Ferguson might get involved in that. So I don't know. So
I don't know. It's a bit like left backs. We always tend to land on our feet with left backs as well, don't we?
Yeah, but I think with the striker thing is we got lucky with Calvert-Lewin, didn't we? I feel like.
Yeah, because his improvement the last couple of years has been quite good.
We got very lucky, I think.
There was a point where he was good, but he was a bit of a workhorse, ran everywhere, and wasn't really getting the goals, was he? So
he was a winger. He played right wing back against Stoke.
Yeah. In Ronald Koeman's side, he was a right wing back, wasn't he?
Yeah. Because someone put here, Dom and Rom have been the only decent. To be honest, did we have someone before Rom? 2013. We had Yakubu and then like that Baron spell, maybe between there Yelovich. No, we have a few decent strikers. I think
Yelovich was good. Yakubu
I think we might have had like a 2-year, 3-year spell where we had no striker. But even I'm trying to think.
We have had clangers though. For every one good one, we've had about 3.
Yeah, we've always had one good one and then a load of crap surrounding him. That's what it's been.
Yeah, like we've had some really naff ones in our time as well.
Good old Umanias. Still better than Rondon though.
I'm thinking the likes of Aspelos, Belios, and stuff like that.
And they're probably
some
still
real
better than
clangers back then. But I mean, I can't see it. I can see us selling him in the summer. I completely think he goes in the summer, by the way. 100% he goes in the summer, and I think he wants to go.
Unless we have a real second, like I'm talking, we have title challenge levels of second half of the season, then
if we push far enough that we finish like 12th, somewhere like that, I think to 10th.
I don't know.
I think progression.
Barring some there is. I don't think top half's out of the question. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to finish 14th, 15th. That's my prediction. But I think the league's close enough that if Lampard can pull off some sort of miracle, we could make the season look better than it actually was. But I don't think we will. I think we'll finish 14th, 15th. I think that's what I think it is. Because do you know what I think will happen? We'll lose to Newcastle or Burnley, but we'll end up beating one of the big teams, and that's what will save us. And it'll just be.
Looking at a table now, 10th or 12th. Above that, I'm starting to think it's out of the question because Brighton are about 4 points clear on Leicester. But 10th, 12th, I think the only way, I think he still goes, but I think the only way you could keep Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a strong end of the season and sort of a sign that the club are going in the right direction and like the next season could be a real push on. I think he'd need to see real. I don't see
Calvert-Lewin leaving for 60 million, unless we have something planned where it's Calvert-Lewin leaves, bang, instantly we've got someone in. Because who like I'm trying to think of a striker in England realistically that we could sign.
I don't think there's one in England. I would look abroad.
We could get that big Dutch fella who's linked with Burnley right now, who plays for Wolfsburg, but that's like the only one.
Oh, Gerst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd fit the way we play. Big Dutch beanpole, but I don't think. Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think DCL goes until the summer, and I think we'll get more than 60 mil. Because
you reckon we'll get more?
I think we might be able to scam them out of a bit more. You
Do
know,
you think he's worth 60 million, by the way?
yeah, he's English.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but if you take the English, do you think as a player, just on technical ability, do you reckon he's worth it?
Well, wait a minute.
I don't know if it's me trying to just get ready to not have him anymore, but 60 million seems an awful lot for him. Like, he's good, but like he also has his weaknesses, and I don't know if he suits Arteta.
So if I look
Arteta's
through a
style.
list here of strikers who've gone for around 60 million, whoop. So we've got, I don't know, because some of the names on this list, right? You look at some of the more modern ones here, you know, well, it's not telling me strikers, it's telling me all players. You know, Fernando Torres went to Chelsea, but at the time, that was worth it. You look at the players in and around this price range, you know, Pulisic was 64 million. You know, I just want one stream with Cal where he doesn't Google. I'm not an encyclopedia, mate. You know, I wish I was. I wish I could just lay stuff on you like that sometimes, but I can't. Luka Jovic went for 70 million euros. So, yeah, Calvert-Lewin's worth 60 million. That sums it up.
Yeah. I don't know. I've just got this feeling that I don't know if he suits Arteta's football as well, and I'm really worried.
He does. Look at how much they cross the ball.
Yeah, it's his one-on-ones, isn't it, for me? I think his one-on-ones are really where he needs a bit of practice.
Yeah, but I feel like
I think we miss him though. When he goes, we miss. I'm not going to sit here and go,
miss him
we
massively.
miss him.
We've got no attack without him. I think as a player in general, Calvert-Lewin is worth around, I'd say around 50 to 60 million. For us, it's like people are putting in the chat 80, 90, 100. You know, for us, the value he brings to Everton, and that I think that's the value, because, you know, his one-on-one abilities aren't fantastic, yeah. But in the end, he's not a natural striker. He's naturally going to still improve more. He's young enough to the point where he still will improve. But I think with a team like Arsenal who like to go at you, I think he would struggle. I think he needs a team where he gets the service, not has to provide himself with moments. I think that's his problem with us. And I do think that it's a problem that we might... I don't know. I think it is something that he could improve on, but I'm not going to say he's definitely going to improve on it, and then he never does. You know, but just because of the fact that he's English, I think it does massive things to his price, and I think that's why we need to hold up for as much money as possible, because unless we've got a real replacement in mind, we will be done without him, unless we give Richarlison the main striker role. But then I could also see Richarlison leaving in the summer, so...
Yeah, I could see Richarlison potentially leaving in the summer as well, because that would be one replacement for him. We just got to make sure we get it right. We've got to... I guess it depends what style Frank Lampard brings. Obviously, we're used to Everton now, where it's pass it to Gray, pass it to Gordon, they whip it in and see who can get on the end of it. Maybe with Frank Lampard, different type of player, we need to look at a different mold compared to the Dominic Calvert-Lewin mold that we're so used to seeing. Because I saw a list of players in Europe the other day that were good aerially. And somebody had said on Twitter, you should be looking at this for if Calvert-Lewin does end up leaving.
Yeah, I feel
under Frank Lampard,
I think Lampard will get the best out of him. You look at a player like Tammy Abraham, who I do think is more technically gifted, and I do think is a better player than Calvert-Lewin. You know, that might be a controversial statement. I think Tammy Abraham is a bit better than Calvert-Lewin. You know, I think his all-around game anyway is better than Calvert-Lewin's. But I think he got the best out of Tammy Abraham, who is a similar mold to Calvert-Lewin. I think they're quite similar, so I think he could get the best out of him. And, you've seen what Tammy Abraham's doing now under someone like Jose at Roma. He's got 20 goal contributions in all competitions, and it's the end of January. So I think we just need to hope Calvert-Lewin comes in on form. That's the thing. It's like David puts here. Calvert-Lewin on form is one of the best strikers in the league. Yeah. But it's the problem of getting him back on form after such a long injury, such a long recovery period, I think that's the problem we need to worry about. And I do think Lampard will get the best out of him. I think we'll see Calvert-Lewin have a resurgence, Well, not a resurgence, because he was good before he got injured. He was
I think he's just struggling, isn't he, to catch up to pace after his injuries. I don't think he's lost it.
He was forced to play while injured too, and switching from the Rafa ball, that's difficult for strikers because you barely get a chance. you've got to snatch on minimal chances, and sometimes players like Calvert-Lewin can't do that. Sometimes it is your players like Rondon, Chris Wood, who are better at that because they're used to it. They're used to being given minimal chances. Calvert-Lewin's a striker who I think you need to give a lot of chances to. In Calvert-Lewin, it's hard to explain because that makes me sound like he's saying he's crap and he needs loads of chances to score. But I think the point of it is Calvert-Lewin is a guy who's best when getting good service. And, when it's minimal under Rafa and it's just grey, it's the same thing over and over again. It isn't going to work, is it? So I hope I'm right. I hope I'm not just speaking in circles and that it doesn't just lead to, Calvert-Lewin being crap for the rest of the season. But I don't think he will. I think Calvert-Lewin's going to finish this season on around, I think he could finish on like 14, 15 goals, even in the limited times we've got left. Because he has shown that he can be a goal-scoring monster when he's on form.
Yeah, I hope so. I know Lawrence Gatley has put that apparently Lampard doesn't want him to leave. I think he's on about Calvert-Lewin, but I don't know how you'd know that because as of yet, we have no manager yet.
It is probably common sense, isn't it? Lampard probably looks at Calvert-Lewin and goes, "You're my Tammy Abraham. You're my goal scorer." I hope he looks at Gordon like he's Mason Mount. And I
saw somebody say that he could be the Mason Mount-esque.
I think he will be.
Or the Harry Wilson at Derby role.
I think that's going to be the plan. I think he's going to be Lampard's. I think he's going to be the key creative part of the team. I hope, because I think he showed against Villa that creatively he's probably already the best player on our team.
Yeah.
I think Lampard definitely will give him the opportunity because I think Lampard will see it as, what do I have to lose? The kid's he's ace, isn't he? You know what I mean? Every time he plays, he's the spark that the team needs to get results. So I think he has to play. I think he will be Lampard's main creative force, and I hope I'm right. I really do. I hope. No offense to Townsend, I hope it isn't Townsend and Gray. I think at this point now we want Gray and Anthony Gordon to be the wingers for our team.
Yeah, 100%. 100% agree. I saw Inky put here that about the Iranian guy, if Calvert-Lewin was to go, the one from Zenit who's having a good season.
He's left, I think.
Is it not
Azmoun or something?
Yeah.
Let me check Big Fabrizio Romano's Twitter. I remember something about him. Azmoun.
That's a problem. A lot of players that you'd sort of like. Vahalovic was meant to be Arsenal's main transfer target, and Juventus pretty much snapped that up very quickly. So I think that's the other problem with Everton potentially is a lot of strikers that you deem as good strikers in Europe have gone. Rafael Leao, I wouldn't be surprised if he was linked with us in the summer if Calvert-Lewin goes.
He's more of a winger now, though, isn't he? He plays that winger role now.
Yeah, but he's been linked a couple of times. Lucas and the Mecha as well has been highly praised.
The Wolfsburg one.
Yeah, so right? We'll have to wait and see. I think that will burst.
Here we go.
He's going to be a good sign for Burnley.
Azmoun has joined Leverkusen.
That's a decent signing. Yeah, that's the other problem. Are all the good strikers in Europe being snatched up a little bit quickly? There seems to be a lot of outgoings in that position.
I think that's the thing is what we've always had to do is we've had to we've either had to find gems or we've had to build them up. Calvert-Lewin, I don't know how we got Lukaku. I think we just got really lucky that no other team seemed to try to sign Lukaku. But yeah, I think if Calvert-Lewin goes, then I think we need to be looking now. I think we have to be looking at the possibility of certain players leaving in the summer and try to identify. We've got 6 months to identify a replacement. Surely we can find someone decent within 6 months.
You'd hope so. I mean, Daryl Dike was linked with us for a while as well, but I think he recently got injured.
West Brom.
Yeah, and
he got injured, and I think they've just signed Andy Carroll to replace him.
Gosh, Andy Carroll. Gosh, I forget that he exists every now and then. But yeah, I mean, I hope not. Interestingly, I found something on Donny van der Beek. It's from a fella called Tim Keach on Twitter. who does Insight Market. He shared a little bit of what the back of their system says about him. And it's good. He says his ball progressiveness is rated 42, 38 for ball winner. Advanced playmaker, he's quite
Well, what's
high.
this out of 42 out of what?
I think it's 100. But he was basically saying he's elite at getting into the box and taking shots when playing in a ball dominant attacking team, and his ability to play short link up balls around the opposition box, but not a playmaker. I mean, there's still a position for that in this Everton team. I think maybe he is expected to play that, like you said, that third man in that midfield that makes the runs into the box.
Yeah, I think it's difficult because if you're using his Man United time, it's hard to get a real judge on him as a player from such limited amounts of football, So I really do think that it's something that we'll have to see after a few games. I'm praying, I'm touching wood that Donny van de Beek just says, do you know what, Newcastle, mate? We're not getting relegated this season, just cracks one in from 30 yards because he feels like it. So, but I think we need to come in with, if I had to think of, I think we're going to get I hope we sign a number 10. I think that's vital. People say Van der Beek's going to be our number 10. I think he's more of a central midfielder that drives up like a number 10, like Lingard or like Ali. They're the easy examples of, number 10s who are really good at getting in the box or even from outside the box and scoring goals. I think that's what we need, because I feel like when Calvert-Lewin's not on form, it's like sometimes it feels like no one else can score. Damari Gray had his good run of goals, but relying too much on Damari Gray to score, it gets us caught out so much. I think Anthony Gordon still needs to develop that finishing touch. So I think having that number 10 who can receive the ball from Calvert-Lewin or something and who can just make other teams worry about our attack. I think that's the problem. I don't think many teams worry about our attack, if I'm honest with you.
No, I agree. And I know obviously people are saying Donny van der Beek can and has played a 10. But I think you're right. I think our attack just is a bit lackluster at the minute. I think obviously Gray does very well, but in terms of creating, Gordon's fantastic. In terms of scoring, not so much. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin, when he's trying to fight it back to fitness, is just meh.
I think the thing is with Dom as well. Another thing that I feel like struggles with Dom is when he gets the ball from the goal kick, there's this big hole in the middle of the pitch, and it's just him stood in it. There's no one running off him. There's no one coming, close to him to give him some support. It's just Dominic Calvert-Lewin takes it down, turns, and has to figure out what to do there. I think that's why a number 10 would be so helpful. Someone in that space besides Calvert-Lewin, where Calvert-Lewin can take it down from a goal kick, play it to them, and then dart off on a run. Because he's not the most fantastic dribbler, and I don't think we expect him to dribble. But in some of those instances, someone like a Van der Beek, someone like Dele Alli, someone like Lingard, just a number 10, or could offer Calvert-Lewin that freedom to just be a real goal scorer instead of, feeling like he has to do everything in attack, because I feel like he does. We rely on him and Gray way too much. I don't even think we rely on Richarlison as much as we should, to be honest with you.
No, I'm quite surprised at how little we seem to be relying on Richarlison as an outlet. It'd be interesting, obviously, if Lampard's going to play a 4-3-3, that puts another question: where does Richarlison go?
The right. You can play on the right wing.
Do you reckon he'll stick Gray in? Where do you reckon he sticks Gray then?
Oh yeah.
We've got one too many wingers.
I think Gordon won't play there unless he plays a 4-2-3-1.
Possibly, yeah.
And he plays Gray or Gordon through the middle. And then
Lampard himself's a bit hard to judge because obviously we can only judge him on his Derby and Chelsea seasons, and they weren't long in terms of longevity. But apparently he spent his sabbatical out in America doing more tactical stuff, developing his game a little bit more. So we're all assuming he'll play, and I think he will probably play the 4-3-3. It seems to be quite a popular formation in football as a whole at the minute. But for all we know, it might be a different look at Frank Lampard's, for a Frank Lampard football team.
I don't know, because I think signing a 6 would really help. I think lighten the load on Alan a bit, because like Chris puts here, we concede every game. Basically, we need someone who can at least offer some support. I think the centre backs are okay, but I think they're good. I think Mina and Godfrey are both good, but I think if they're constantly being charged at all game, eventually stuff's gonna happen. It's I said this to my mate when we were talking about it. Our manager shouldn't be our best midfielder. You know what I mean? So it's this situation where we need to. There's a lot of holes in the squad, and there is only a day left. So I don't see us fitting those. Another centre back would be nice, but I think we can live without one. And a number 6 would be really, really good, and an attacking midfielder are probably the big necessities. If we can get 2 out of 3 of those done, preferably the defensive midfielder and the attacking midfielder, I think we'll be in a really good position, because I just look at centre backs and I don't know who we'd sign. Personally,
no, and someone put that Chris Sanders put the defence worries in because we concede every game, but in terms of centre backs, I don't know.
It's the set pieces, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I hope one of the people he brings in knows how to set up a set piece properly, because
I think we'll bin off zonal marking.
I hope so. It's just not work. I know it works at some clubs and stuff, but it doesn't seem to work at ours. I don't think the attention spans there for a lot of our players. I hope if he can fix our set piece problem, he'll already level the playing field a little bit better for him.
Yeah, because we've got big players. We can man mark. We've got naturally big players. So I think, it's just, I don't want to see zonal marking. Like, don't get me wrong, if Lampard comes and uses zonal marking and it goes well, then go for it, keep doing it. But I don't see it going well. That's the problem. It never goes well for Everton. We could have, the best set piece guy in the world, and we'll still find a way to concede every game. So I don't know. Martin puts here that Mina got sent off for Colombia, which is good.
Yeah, he misses his next game, so he's come home early, which means he's hopefully fit. Because that's the worry when Yerry Mina goes on international duty, is that he'll pick up some injury and that'll be it.
Glass.
Yeah, he's another one that is a fantastic player, but seems to pick up an awful lot of injuries. Even before this season, he was picking them up. I thought we were going to miss him for a lot longer when he was rushed back. For that game where he just rushed him back because he didn't want to play Dean. I thought we were going to miss him for quite a lot of the season. Livervid's put here, we need signings ASAP, but would you rather see a director of football in place, or, to be more to the point, discuss future signings with Tim Cahill? I think from what I've heard of the rumours, Tim Cahill, he's going to get a job at Everton, and I've heard through Twitter and stuff that it potentially is going to be that he's our director of football.
I won't complain. It's better than Kia Joe ruining the club.
Yeah, I mean, if he can spot younger talent as well, that'd be really good. Like you said, he knows. I'm going to sound such hypocritical because I don't want to, I'm the first to call out jobs for boys and sentiment sometimes, but like, he gets the club, which is,
But there's a difference between jobs for the boys and giving someone who's actually got experience the chance. Like, yeah, if people complain because he managed in the Belgian league and like that's not the standard we should be going for. Well, it is because we're in the relegation zone. Well,
I don't think we're in
a relegation fight right now, unless we beat Newcastle and Burnley. But so I think it's a situation where if you're going to bring someone in who knows the atmosphere of the club, what the fans want, what the fans expect, and I think that's the best, because I think that was the problem with Marcel Brands, and I also think Cahill, hopefully, I touch wood, won't just sit back. If Mashiri says something, he'll say, no, that's not going to work. This is how it'll work. So I hope so. But I'm also not going to get my hopes up massively.
That's what I mean. I'm not going to get my hopes up, but I don't think and I mean this in the nicest way possible. I mean this in the truthfulest way. I don't think we're the most attractive job for a director of football to take currently, because of the outgoing rumours of how many people have an input on transfers, how Everton's transfer policies are done, the agent influence at us. I think Marcel Brands leaving and the rumours coming out that, he was up against it. I think, for, any well-respected director of football, they might look at that and think, I'm not joining a job where I've got to fight my case. If I'm, if you're a highly reputed director of football, like Lewis Campos, for instance, who's been known for building great teams, I don't think he'd appreciate coming in and having to try and convince the powers that be to sign players when he's built two great teams in Monaco and Lille. He'd be a bit more like, well, what do I have to prove?
And I think the way English football runs as well, it's so different to other parts of European leagues, I think. So I think someone with some understanding of English football is always the best way to go. So I think giving Kale the job, why not? You know what I mean? There's a few clubs. I think there is a few clubs that have former players as the director of football, and it works quite well. So, I think it's just the natural pessimism because, when does anything ever go right at Everton? But I trust him and I think he'd do a good job at the club, so I don't see the problem with it.
No. Flash the originals, obviously I mentioned him before. Problem is, because we've used two of our domestic loans, this would have to be a purchase, and I don't know if we've got the money. Ruben Loftus-Cheek. 20
million or less, 100%. I'd 100% 20 million for Loftus-Cheek. I think he's fantastic. I think he really is good enough to play for, in my opinion, like a top 8 side. I really do. I think he's a big physical presence, but he's also so smooth on the ball. He's one of those players that he makes football look effortless in a sense sometimes when he's at his best. And I think that's something Everton really lack. I don't think there's a single player on a team actually that makes football just look easy.
They make it look too difficult.
That's what I mean. It's like it looks so natural with someone like Loftus-Cheek, and it depends on the price. But if the price is right, at 100% take him on a permanent, I think it'd be a great signing.
Well, he's like 26 now. He's been highly rated for a while. I'm a bit confused on how he doesn't get regular. I guess because it's Chelsea and the amount
he's had
of
a few injuries as well recently. I think Loftus-Cheek, ever since that big injury, I don't know if it's either been a dip in form or managers don't trust that he might get injured again. I think he had COVID at one point this year. I think he got when he was starting to get a run of games under. Look, he hasn't really had any huge injuries since the Achilles rupture back in 2019. But at the same time, I think it's almost impossible to get into that Chelsea side. And I think when he does play, he impresses for Chelsea. So if whenever he plays, he's impressing for what was a title challenger, what is the European champions, that's good enough to play for Everton 100%.
Yeah, and I think he's more of a ball carrier. So obviously we said Van der Beek maybe not so much, but Loftus-Cheek would tick the ball carrying midfielder in that free mid-man midfield.
He's not afraid to get stuck in as well. And like I said, he's a big physical presence. I think that's something he offers compared to a lot of players like him. It's something he offers. He's you watch him. He's a big fella, and he can bounce people off the ball. So I think he's valued at around 18 million. I think if we can get him between 15 and 20, it's a good deal. Personally, I think he's 26. He's probably still got 4 or 5 good years of football left in him. I think he's proven with his England caps that at his best, he is one of the best midfielders this country has. Maybe not now because of the abundance of quality that the English national team has now in midfield. But I think, like I said, for a reasonable price and a player Frank Lampard already knows, then I'd 100% take it. And I think it is something Everton should look at.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I think he's well worth if the price is right. We have just had breaking as well that we've put there in the chat. Paul Clement is set to become Frank Lampard's assistant at Everton. That's come by Sky Sports.
I'm happy with it.
Yeah, obviously that leads to the next question that we can talk about. What do you do if you're Duncan Ferguson?
I don't know. I think it would. I don't think he'll leave. He might be a coach, but at the same time, it might just be a coach in name. He could still have a lot of influence on the club. It's up to him. If I was him, I'd personally go get another job. I know it sounds crazy, but if you can go get a League 2, League 1 job, go to Scotland and get a job and prove yourself, then listen, I am quite pessimistic. I don't expect Lampard to last the end of his contract. I think that's how it works at Everton. So, Duncan apparently turned down the role of set-piece coach to take the Sunderland job.
I think they're taking the
if he takes the Sunderland job, it's not exactly the end of the world. I think it'd be good for him. I think he needs that sort of experience. I think the fella needs it. I think he's proven that he is good enough to be a manager. And, it's up to him, isn't it, really? I'd love him to stay at the club. I think we'd all love him to stay at the club. But I think we'd also love to see him get his opportunities elsewhere and prove himself at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's come to the point now where he's sort of like, if he doesn't do it now, he'll just become part of the furniture type thing. And obviously, there were rumours in the summer that one of the sort of job descriptions was that you have to take Duncan Ferguson on, which not every manager is going to be willing to make those sort of shifts in their backroom staff to accommodate that type of thing. I think from what he was saying in his interview before the Villa game, he does want to be Everton manager at some point and have a proper go at it. But I think he realises himself that he's not going to until he, cuts his mustard.
I think it's like the same thing we said with Rooney when he was first linked, that this job will come up again. And he would consider taking, a job elsewhere in that time. Look at what Wayne Rooney's doing with Derby. If Duncan can do a similar thing, I don't know where Sunderland are in League One, but I can imagine there's a chance of them getting playoffs. Sunderland are just one of those. They're third in League One right now. If he can get Sunderland promoted into the Championship, there you go. One promotion in his first job. I don't think it'd be a bad thing at all. But I've just seen something here. It says Tim Cahill is set for an official role at Everton as part of a new technical team following the club's strategic review. So what it looks like is, I'm guessing then it's a group of people, not just one director of football.
Depending on who they are, that could be quite good. But like, if it's Tim Cahill, Kia Shubashan, and then like Majiri himself as a team of three, that's dreadful. But if it's like Tim Cahill, Stuart Webber, for example, would be really good.
I think
Dan
Webber
Ashworth,
would want
if they
the
could take
unique
him.
role. I think that'd be the problem.
Yeah.
Is I think it might be a group of scouts.
I was going to say, even if it's a couple of scouts that, don't want to be directors of football, but would happily be scouts, that could work.
That's what I mean. So I think it'd be I think it's a good idea. It looks like this internal review, hopefully, praying may have actually gone well and that they've actually realised what the problems may be. Because I think highlighting the fact that, we need to focus on the transfer side of things and that we need to realise that these transfers have just not really been very good over the past few years. So I think having a team whose main focus, hopefully, is transfers and the technical side of the club, having a team to focus just on that would probably help us a lot more.
Yeah, and I mean, it's always good to have an extra set of eyes over anything you do, isn't it? Someone just to double, have another look. So maybe that's what we need. Then it's not down to individual mistakes. 3 or 4 people have had a look at something and green lighted it before it happens at the club, and stuff like that. Inky's put about Ndombele. He was the one who apparently PSG were after. I don't know where he's gone, but
Fab literally tweeted something about 20 minutes ago, about him going back to Lyon. 18 minutes ago, here's next. Olympic Lyon signing Tanguy Ndombele. He's just arrived in Lyon to complete the deal on deadline day.
I was going to say, I know PSG were after him a while ago, and that was where the sort of rumours were maybe.
I don't think he works hard enough. I don't think he'd have fit what Lampard's going to want to do.
No, I don't. From what I read as well, he didn't want to join us. Apparently, he really was not interested.
I don't blame the guy.
No, I don't either. I've just seen the link though that someone was on about before. It's come from a not very recommended the Daily Star, I think, but apparently Lampard said in his interview wants to build it around Dominic Calvert-Lewin, his team.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. And I'm hearing good stuff about Lampard. I think that's from the Athletics.
I think he's shown good stuff, and I think the guy, he's clearly passionate towards the job. I think he'll give us it all. He doesn't like Jurgen Klopp, and I think I think he'll do really well. I think this is the chance he needs. Hopefully, he doesn't just abandon us for Chelsea. So, I think Frank will really do something for the club. But I think, it'll be one of those where we look at it and go, well, here we go. This is what we've been needing for a while now. A manager who, isn't just coming in for either one last paycheck or just because he's got a big reputation as a manager. It's someone who is hungry and wants to prove himself as a manager after, the stigma is that he failed at Chelsea.
Yeah, I agree. It's a different sort of managerial appointment. For one, it's not, a Rafa Benitez or a Carlo Ancelotti. At this time, like you said, that he is certainly a young, hungry manager who, like you said, has got something to prove still. He wants to prove, that the Chelsea thing didn't define his managerial career. Apparently, his presentation he did for the board as well was meant to be really impressive, all tactical, really, well put together, and highlighted exactly how he wants a team to play, which, again, I'm completely for. Maybe he did use that sabbatical well.
Well, let's hope so. If we get a manager who does the interview and he goes into the interview and goes, "There you go. Here's how I want you to play already. I've got something for every player. There you go. I want him to do this, 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 and this. There you go." At least it's showing that we're hiring a manager who's actually prepared for the job.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And Paul Clement is a really good, really, really good signing to have. To have on. That's 100%. A really impressive one for me.
Well, from his past resume, he is anyway. As an assistant manager, 100%. And he's something that, the club would really, really help to have.
Yeah. And hopefully this strategic review that we're on about, that is as good as Lampard's appointment. If this strategic review is done properly and it's taken seriously, then maybe this is building the fountain. Because let's be honest, I know what you're saying about Lampard. I'm not getting attached to managers at Everton anymore. I don't think it's worth it. I always don't think they're going to last very long just because, proof's in the pudding at Everton. But the strategic review isn't about, the next 2 years, which is how long a manager is. That's about the next, if they get that right, that's the next 5-10 years sorted and boxed off. Which if this year has proven anything, this is what happens when 5 bad years of mismanagement comes up. Your hens come to rooster, I think the saying is, roost or something. And that's, I think, what's happened to Everton. All the hens have come to roost, and we're now, struggling. A couple of people here have said that I've just seen this rumor myself. Apparently, Weston McKennie. I think that's
about Carlo Ancelotti, isn't there?
Yeah, I think that might be the Weston McKennie rumors that he's sort of going to help us get him on loan.
I mean, listen, if you wanted, it's just like, I think the thing is, to be fair to Ancelotti, is I know many people don't like him, but there's also been a lot of things saying that he contacted Lampard as well when he first got the job. Yeah, so that he spoke with Lampard over the past few. It says here, I don't know if it's true. It's from Finch Farm Insider. Don't know if he's good. It's an ITK account, but it says, led to believe this is true. Carlo Ancelotti spoken with Frank Lampard over the past few days about the Everton job and has offered to help in any way he can. And I wouldn't be surprised if it meant loaning someone either with Carlo's help or hopefully from Real Madrid.
Apparently, he did the same with Duncan Ferguson, didn't he? He called Duncan Ferguson up as well.
Absolute scenes. Vinicius Jr. joins Everton on loan.
Never going to happen. Knowing our luck, he'll say he's helping us out and we'll end up with like Isco.
Sends us Davide Ancelotti back, but as a player.
As a set-piece coach, I'd have him happily.
No, I'll have him to take the set pieces.
But yeah, I mean, a couple of people here have said that Richarlison might be due a good bit of form under Lampard. Jack the Lad said he watched when we beat them 3-1, and he was very highly praised. I think it's undoubtable the skill Richarlison has. We've even got a Chelsea fan here saying he hopes Lampard takes us up the table.
I think he will.
Which I think most Chelsea fans still see him as because, like you said, that Chelsea job is tough. It's tough, and I think the fans
Well, look how
realise
people reacted when he left.
Yeah, they were devastated. I thought he was sacked harshly as well.
I think it's hard because they were ninth in the league, weren't they? And when you're Chelsea, ninth in the league is like relegation for us. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
they expect to be in title challenges every year, so I
and
think
like
it's
Thomas
quite different.
I think Tuchel's just a little bit too tough to turn down, isn't he, as well?
Exactly.
So if you see like Thomas Tuchel available and you're sitting in ninth, you can't help but go, it might be worth cutting your nose off.
Yeah,
In this
exactly.
situation. One that I've seen a couple. I think I said it the other day in the 24/7 that we haven't discussed is Ross Barkley. Jack the lads just put the Barkley's a donut. Is that a straight no?
No, I don't care how well he's been, because my thing is, it's just like when we brought Rafa in, isn't it? It doesn't matter how good he is as a player, the fan base will always be toxic around him, even if he's on good form. So, I just don't think it's worth it. It's official breaking news. Deal signed. Yeah, Sky Sports have just said that Lampard signed, so now it's 100% official. 2.5-year deal, is it? Something like that?
Yeah, only Everton could do it at like near enough 9 o'clock. You watch it, it'll be an 11 o'clock announcement, which has been seen before by the club. I've seen a couple of late night announcements where I'm like, why don't you just wait 12 hours and do that in the morning?
I'll wait till tomorrow when we sign like 4 players at 11:45 p.m.
That would be brilliant. If I woke up to Everton have announced Lampard, they've signed Van der Beek, they've signed Weston McKennie, or whoever else it may be. That would be brilliant. I can't see it happening. Two new transfers I'd take tomorrow. 4 would be brilliant, but I mean, it's. I'm gonna hold my.
I'm just hoping it's one of them's Idrissa Gueye, because I'm getting my hopes up about it now. Wormy Zakaria has gone to Juventus, I believe it is.
Yeah, I thought he was going to Juventus.
Yeah, I think he's gone. 100%. He's gone to Juventus.
Yeah, Drama King is put as a Chelsea fan, Frank Lampard's going to be a good manager for you. Brings the best out of so many of your players. So it's good to see. It's good to see. And now that it's official, I think we just need him and his scarf at Goodison Park photos, and then we're done, aren't we? I think that's official, and then bring on the deadline day tomorrow.
That's it. Bring on deadline day. Let's pray that we get a few signings in.
Yeah, I hope so. I think from looking at the rumours, expect midfielders. We've got Van der Beek. I had to make sure I got that right, because I think I've been calling him Beek the whole time. If we get Donny Van der Beek in, we get Idrissa Gueye, or maybe Weston McKennie. I would take either of them. I think he's put about James Garner. I've seen a couple of people
they want 20 million though, I think. And I don't think 20 million is the rumored price, and I don't know if that's the best idea to pay 20 million when,
I mean, God's Eyes put about Barkley here. He's put saying Barkley, no, you need to get over it. This isn't helping us out. I don't know what football you've been watching though to assume that Ross Barkley's going to walk in and make.
And it's not even better. I just like, if you're going to put something in the chat, listen, fella, we're saying, because the reaction from the fan base would be toxic. This isn't us saying we hate Ross Barkley, we hope Ross Barkley, blah, blah, blah. We're saying, we know the reaction will be toxic, just like it was to Rafa. So why would we take the risk of bringing someone in who the fans are going to hate from the start? You know what I mean? I'm not doubting Ross Barkley as a player. I think on his day he's a great player. But at the same time, is it really worth taking a risk of bringing someone in that the fans are going to dislike? And are we going to be able to get the best out of Ross Barkley if the fans are against him?
Luca Dean had a bottle of Lucozade thrown at his head just for playing for Aston Villa. Can you imagine what Ross Barkley's going to get? As a reaction, not projectiles, but like as a reaction, he's not going to get a great one, is he?
No, I don't think some people will lob things at him, but it'll be the Iwobi treatment where touches the ball, boo.
Yeah.
Unless he scores a worldie on his debut, but I still think. He put, our fans kick off all the time, mate. We will never please some. That's what it is, God's eye. That's exactly what it is, mate. I think it is. With this I think with all football fan bases, it's impossible to please everyone. But I think bringing in a player who's probably more disliked than liked it's just in the position we're in, it's a recipe for disaster. Maybe if we're in mid-table, I'd say take a risk on it. If he gets good form, he gets good form. But we're in a relegation battle right now. We are in a relegation battle unless we win these next 2 games, where winning every game needs to be vital. That's as simple as that.
Yeah, I agree. Matty Albany has put that he wants Frank Kessie. His contract runs out at the end of the season, could get him cheap. I'm surprised other people aren't on that if he's going available. He's quite a highly rated midfielder.
I think he is, but I think he's asking for a lot of money. I think he's asking for like 250 grand a week, which is why Milan haven't re-signed him. And if we're, so I don't think I'd like it, but unless we can manage to convince him to take like half of the money he actually wants, then
yeah, it's going to be tough. And big waged contracts aren't something we need to be messing ourselves in.
Look, he'll have his leg turned into a Kit Kat.
Yeah,
with big wages,
and that's not going to help financial fair play. Apparently, Sullivan's put that apparently Liverpool are also sniffing around him. So, looks like that could be a potential problem. I'm just going to time out the Millwall fan. That's what happens when you get Frank Lampard as a manager. This is what will happen. You're bringing stuff like that. That's purely because of Lampard. That is. But yeah, I mean, before we start ending down, we're going to look at a couple more of the potential players that we're rumored with, dabbling with. So do you think, out of curiosity, we are going to go and push? Do you think it is worth us pushing for a striker or looking at a striker, or
give Dobbin the chance? Give Dobbin the chance.
I think give him the chance.
I'd rather give Dobbin the chance because Dobbin is potential-wise one of our better players. He's better than Rondon. When he comes on and he has an impact, he's one of those players that he's at that age now where when he comes off the bench, his energy can really help us. I don't see the point in signing another striker when we need other positions first. If we had other positions set, I'd be saying, get a better backup in. But right now, it's not worth it. I think we should prioritize spending money on other things.
Yeah, I think apparently Dobbin as well. A couple of people who said that they watched the under 23s, under 21s was saying that he's better technically than Sims.
Yeah, he is. I watched him against Bradford Park Avenue I think he came off the bench and scored like 3 times. But he was technically, I know it's a non-league side, but technically the guy was light years ahead of a lot of players on the pitch. So I think he needs to be in and around the first team consistently now. He signed a new deal, and I can imagine that's come with some first team promises. Oh, wait a minute, Inky, whoa, Inky, don't lie to me. Where have you seen this? Wait a minute. Has a miracle taken place over this live stream? I can
see a lot of people upset at Sky Sports for announcing the Lampard before the club have had the chance to.
Well, it's the club's fault, isn't it?
Yeah.
What I mean? I'm not.
A couple of people have mentioned the after Mashiri saying he won't be talking to Jim White anymore, sort of thing.
But Jim White's tweeted.
Yeah, I was going to say Jim White himself has just tweeted it, hasn't he, as well, which is brilliant. Brilliant to see. I don't know if the Alex Iwobi one's true, because is he not still at the AFCON, or have they been kicked out?
Oh, they lost, didn't they? I swear they got... Like in Nigeria, AFCON.
God's eye, I'm not too sure why Dobbin hasn't had much more game time, mate.
They lost to Tunisia.
Oh, Tunisia are former winners of it, though, aren't they? So, a lot of guys here have said that Dobbin is very highly rated. God's eyes asked why he doesn't get much game time. I think honestly, we had a manager who sticks with Rondon. Thought maybe he'd get some time under Duncan Ferguson, but he's only had 1 game to manage. Jack the Lad said that he can play at the wing. Dobbin can play on the wing. Rob Fulton said he's a winger. I'm really glad that Dobbin, that's another thing we've been touched on. Dobbin signing his new contract is massive.
Yeah.
I wonder if that is to do with the manager situation as well, and them saying, it probably is going to be Lampard, so stay if you want to play under him.
Yeah, I think it might not be that. It might be the club have finally just offered him, first team assurances that he'll be given chances off the bench now under this new manager. And, he probably reads the rumours too, or I don't know if the players are informed while the process is going on. Palace and Leeds are both supposedly looking at Iwobi. Inky, could you send a link to that, or at least tell us who's saying it before getting our hopes up, please? Because we could pay Leeds for Iwobi. I'll take it. If we all chip in a five, we'll give that to Leeds, and they can take Iwobi. Yeah, because Erwin's right. Yeah, because they aren't in the AFCON because that was the game. Iwobi came on and got subbed off within like 10 minutes.
Oh,
it's not subbed off, sent off.
Yeah.
Swap Iwobi for Rafinha. Deal of the century if we manage that.
Never going to happen, but that would be
deal of the century if we manage that.
Yeah, God's eyes put here. Well, that's one good thing about Lampard. The kids will get a go under him. I hope so, mate. I do really hope that that's going to be the case, and that he gets, Dobbin gets game time. Sims is obviously out at Hearts now, but he scored the other day in his debut, which is brilliant to see for him. But I hope Dobbin, Gordon get games. I think while we're still in the FA Cup as well, obviously we've got Brentford who are Premier League competition, so I don't know how rotated that squad's going to be. But if we got an easier draw, that could be time to rotate a little bit.
I think because we play Brentford this week, don't we?
Yeah.
And then week after's Newcastle, so it'll be a full strength side against Brentford, and then I think it depends on the team we draw. Like if we get a crap team that have managed to squeak through, it might be some rotation, but I think it would be something where it is. I've just completely blanked. My mind has gone completely blank. We could rotate depending on the draw we get. Is what I'd say.
Yeah, I think a rotation would be good. It'd be nice to see Dobbin play a little bit more game time.
To actually start a football game.
Anthony Kirkby's put Dwight McNeil from Burnley. I think that sort of ended. I think that sort of. I don't think we're ready to meet Burnley's evaluation of the player. And Burnley are in as much of a dogfight as we are, so I can't see Burnley looking to get rid of one of their better players. I'm just reading that the Iwobi stuff now. Jack the Lads get Anthony from Ajax. I would really like that. I'm surprised we didn't push for Neres because honestly, I thought he went to Shakhtar for quite a reasonable price. That's the other thing that Matty Elvin's just put here. Van der Beek will be cup tied, won't he?
1 second, let me tell you. He has to have played, doesn't he? Is he still cup tied if he was on the bench?
Yeah, I don't know if it. Yeah, because he's been registered, isn't it?
Yeah, he's made an appearance in the FA Cup, so he's cup tied.
Brilliant.
Oh, great!
Brilliant.
The great news. Donny's cup tied and El Ghazi is. They were both cup tied in the same game.
Yeah. John's just put there from the Toffee Blues that Donny is cup tied because he ironically played Villa, which is the game El Ghazi is also cup tied from.
To be fair, if we sign another central midfielder and if the rumours are right and there's a potential that we sign 4 different players, I don't know if that's 4 including Van der Beek, so it'd be 3 now. I'm going to say that if we signed 3 players, then 100% I could see us seeing Anthony Kirkby put here Pulisic on loan. That'd be a dream. If we had managed to get Pulisic on loan. But also it's the domestic thing, so we'd have to kick El Ghazi out and the fella hasn't even played a game yet.
No, that would be a real shame. Sorry about that. My phone went off then. Yeah, that would be a real shame that we can't play them. Martin Cummins has said Patterson could get a game against Brentford. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Patterson's going to be a consistent starter now.
he looked really. Obviously, again, it's under 23s, but I watched him assist. I think it was Dobbin who got the goal, the headed goal. But his move,
Maybe.
not
It was a good
not
cross.
just and like the flick on to start it, and then the absolute shift he puts in to get up the field to receive the ball again for his cross. I haven't seen a right back run with that much pace and intent for quite a while at Everton Football Club. So that's very much welcomed change of pace down that right hand side. Shakul's just put here that Brentford is 3 days before Newcastle. So I don't know. Maybe he does have to rotate just because of how close they are.
Yeah, I think he will have to rotate.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll be much rotation, but I could very much see. I could see Rondon starting against Brentford. I think it'll be Rondon, unless he, does pull off a miracle and starts Dobbin. I could see maybe if Coleman is now not part of the first team plans, if Coleman could start against Brentford. I don't know. I think Brentford, how difficult that game will be, all depends on if they signed Eriksen. Because, they don't have to do it in the transfer window, do they? Because he's a free agent. They can just sign him anytime.
Yeah, I don't know if they've got to register him, though, before a certain day.
Yes, that's true. They'll have to register him. So it's if they get Eriksen, I'll be a lot more worried. I think Brentford are a good side, and then getting them a real creative force, they could cause us real problems.
Yeah, I mean, I watched them the other day, Brentford, and I don't know. They're a bit. I don't want to say long ballish, but their ball
depends on the
retention
Brentford you get, isn't it?
Yeah, although saying that they had chances.
That's what I mean. Brentford always create chances, and the way our defence plays, creating chances means goals. So I think it's difficult.
Be interesting.
And I think Ivan Toney's going to be hungry for goals now after that video got leaked. Yeah. He's going to want to redeem himself.
What a Wally! What a Wally! I think he's got a lot of making up to do, hasn't he? He's a bit like Lukaku's got a lot of making up to do.
A new club. Oh, it says here, Brentford set to sign former Tottenham midfielder on 6-month contract. Hasn't joined Ajax. No, yeah, Christian Eriksen. Oh, yeah, Christian Eriksen is set. So it's happening. So Christian Eriksen's probably going to play against us.
I think
he's going to score a worldie, isn't he? He's going to score from 30 yards out, isn't
he? It's got that feeling about it, hasn't it? I mean, it depends if Frank puts him straight away in the team, though, because will he not be complete, like, not match fit?
I don't. Yeah, true.
He won't have played football, well, obviously since his cardiac arrest, so he'll need to get up to match fitness, I imagine.
I think they might. I could see him maybe he'll come off the bench. Why?
He'd probably get 10 minutes. I'd give him 10 minutes, and so he can try and help himself there. Martin, I'm going to say McIver's put, hope we get Frank Lampard as manager and him to keep Dunk in the Everton club because he's a true blue. We've defo got him. Frank
Sky
Lampard
just confirmed it. 2.5 years.
Sky have reported it, and apparently I imagine the club's media team now are absolutely racing to get that announcement video done because of that. Whether Duncan Ferguson, it remains to be unseen. Maybe he stays for the end of the season, then reassesses his situation. I think if the club offer him to stay till the end of the season in some capacity, I don't think he'll be in a rush to go. Knowing the club will probably just keep him until he's found another job to leave to if he wants to get into management. Sort of that way, so he's not out of a job. So Sullivan's just put about Eriksen. He also thinks he might just be a substitute.
I think that's what it'll be.
Yeah, that would be asking a little bit too much of him.
The level of player that Eriksen is you give him one chance and he can latch onto that chance and create magic with it. I know it's been a long time since he's played football. I think it's been since that game in the Euros. He hasn't played since.
No.
But you know the type of player he is. You know the team he's playing against. So I'm not going to rule out Eriksen coming on and scoring a worldie.
I mean, anything's possible with Everton. TGG4's put, sure we don't want Nuno. Yes, very sure.
Completely
If
sure.
that's, yeah, I don't want Nuno. Jeez, I didn't want him in the summer. I definitely didn't want him now.
So boring. That's the only problem. He's a good manager, I think. I think he got a
His
rough time
Spurs
of it at
team.
Tottenham. I think he definitely should get another Premier League job. He definitely deserves another Premier League job. But I think
Yeah,
he also likes a coaching staff of like 45 people, so I think that's the problem.
yeah. I was gonna say that. I think apparently that was one of the issues with us, wasn't it? That we weren't ready to sort of
Oh,
ship off half a
something's
squad.
just come out from Peter, or don't have a clue who this fella is. Don't know if he's reliable. As said, Duncan Ferguson is set to leave Everton's coaching staff as part of the reshuffle following Frank Lampard's impending appointment.
Is that Peter O'Rourke?
Yes. Is he
He's
reliable?
yeah. He's been, some of the stuff he said has been quite on the money. So yeah, I would hazard to say he's probably on the money there.
Yeah,
with that
so
one.
looks like Dunk's off then.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But like we said, this isn't the end of Duncan Ferguson and Everton. These paths will cross again further down the line. I'm almost sure of it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I think Duncan Ferguson probably. I just hope he does go out and really. I want him to do well. In the same way I want Rooney to do well, and Rooney is doing well considering the circumstances. But I hope Duncan Ferguson does well as well. I don't know if anyone saw, but he did a video, didn't he, as well, for a fan while he was on the train back from
yeah.
London, which is probably where he probably had a rough idea that he wasn't going to get the job, and still, did a video for a fan on the train. It just sums him up, doesn't it, and the type of class act he is. Do love the fact that like the fella who worked on the trains was walking past him and is probably like, I swear that's Duncan Ferguson. Then the next thing you know, he's like, it's Duncan Ferguson from Everton here, and he's like, yeah, definitely is Duncan Ferguson.
I just love how he introduces everything like that. Everton Twitter seems to be having a meltdown here, saying that apparently Lampard might be getting announced at 9.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked because the club I think the club probably thought tomorrow would be a nice idea.
And now Sky have beat him to it.
Yeah, before. Well, yeah, I think because Sky have done that, they've got no choice now, have they? Do you know what? I had a feeling that we were going to do it late tonight. I just had this feeling. Didn't we announce that Benitez had gone quite late after the reports had been announced? And a couple of
I feel like it was at night, but I don't feel like it was ridiculously late. It might have been actually.
Yeah, like
I can probably give you the exact time if you give me a second. Right,
it
scroll through my camera roll and find when I put a bet on Everton to win the FA Cup. I feel like it was decently late. I don't know if it's here, but I can't seem to find it. But don't really. Benitez announced at 6 p.m. There we go.
That was after a whole nearly 24 hours, was it? Sky have properly announced it now. One as of 1 minute ago, Sky Sports have put it on their actual Twitter.
Got the fancy little graphic and everything.
Yeah.
I imagine we'll be announcing it. It might be in the morning, tomorrow morning.
We'll have to wait. We'll wait another 5 minutes because we could have an exclusive sort of on the channel.
Oh, that we're going to sit here and look like wellies while we're waiting.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of fans saying that they're devastated about Duncan Ferguson. A lot of people saying as well maybe he should push for the now free Sunderland job. Wasn't free at the time, but it certainly is now.
Go for it.
Yeah, that'd be good. That's a good, that'd be well worth taking up if I was him. But yeah.
The one thing about Dunk leaving though is I don't think we'll have the same level of interaction between like Tim and the fans. I just personally don't think Leighton Baines looks like the most antisocial man on the planet. So I think that might be it. I think Dunk was offered a role at the club, But if this is true that Sunderland want him, you can't blame the fella. He's being offered a management chance at a big club like Sunderland, compared to a lot of other clubs in League One anyway. They got a job at Sunderland will get him a lot of attention if he does a good job. So, yeah, I could see him taking that job.
Yeah, I could see him sort of taking that job, and it's a bit like you said, because of the mess they're in. If he does a good job, it will be very, very highly praised, highly reported. Just how good of a job he's doing for that reason. And I hope it does. I hope him all the best. I think he'll come across us again, but only if his job, if he becomes a good football manager. Although saying that, he'd probably, if he didn't, he'd probably end up coming back as a coach under a different manager. Saying that, if he goes out
again under Lampard,
yeah, or if say now for whatever reason, in 5 years Wayne Rooney's in charge, I wouldn't be surprised if he came under Rooney.
Yeah, you'll always have a place at the club, Water. I think that's
yeah,
the message.
exactly.
You'll always have a place at the club.
Yeah, I mean, I think if the likes of like Graham Sharp have still got a role at the club, Duncan Ferguson will have one for the rest of his life if he wanted it. A lot of people here in the chat have said though, sad to see Dunk go, but needs to go. Sort of thing. Sullivan's put about the video again, saying he probably did find out he didn't get the job and still, managed to do that, which was, must be really tough. A lot of people are made up about Frank Lampard, a little bit disappointed about Duncan Ferguson. I did think this was going to be interesting when it looked like Lampard was getting the job, because obviously Duncan Ferguson, to a lot of the fan base, was the person they wanted to have. And then obviously it looked like Pereira and then Lampard. And I think then everyone jumped on one in Lampard because Pereira was going to be the other option. And it wasn't a Dunk or Lampard. It was a Pereira or Lampard, and nobody wanted that. So it's quite, I'm not shocked that he's leaving, but I can see why, people are going to be a bit upset. Martin Cummins has said here that Tim Cahill's press savvy. He's very well spoken, I must admit. The stuff I've watched him in recently since he's left the club, like that coach's voices.
He's really good on Sky as well. He doesn't do it much. I think it's Sky or BT that he does sometimes for Everton.
He does the BBC as well, doesn't he, sometimes?
Yes, I think so. Is he definitely leaving, or I think he's 100% gone.
Yeah, yep. Peter O'Rourke has tweeted. Peter O'Rourke has said that he's leaving, and he's relatively on the money. He's a journalist that 9 times out of 10 that is pretty decent. As of this managerial merry-go-round's been a good chance for me to sort of look at which sources are best to believe. Because some of them have been a bit dubious, and then some of them have pretty much been on the money. Stuff like I said, that there was the ones that were reported. There were ones reporting Pereira got it the other day that were being sort of outed.
I don't think this is getting announced tonight, or they're going to announce it at like 11 p.m. when everyone's in bed.
I imagine.
It won't surprise me.
It's only Everton where Sky Sports are reporting things before the club. This is just sums us up, doesn't it? Like, the only way it could sum us up more is if it was TalkSport that did it. Like, that's the only way it could sum it up.
Jim White here reporting that Duncan Ferguson's been sacked.
White and Jordan on their morning show going, oh, by the way, guys.
No, because at least Simon Jordan talks sense.
Oh,
about Everton.
Sometimes he did one about Pereira the other day, and about how Everton fans are emotional and hadn't looked at his CV properly. And I can sort of, that one, I watched that and I thought, you're trying out your backside a little bit there.
I mean, you have seen his CV. He helped in getting the team relegated twice in 6 months.
And like that. Although I do agree with him that he said Lampard's CV is equally as meh.
It's equally as meh, but also I think Lampard adapts much easier to English football, doesn't he? I think that's the simple part about it. I think we've also got a longer shelf life with Lampard than we do with Pereira.
I completely agree. Paul Fitzgerald's put here about Tim Cahill. Have we heard anything? Yeah, we've heard that he's been offered a part in this strategic restructure and stuff. Looks like he's got a job at Everton, which is good to see. We were just saying that we're happy with this as well because he's gone out and he's got his experience. The Athletic reported that he's set to join Everton as an official role in a new technical team following the review. I take it the review's been done then?
Yeah,
The
must have been.
review.
If we're starting to hire people to fit roles, it has to have been done already.
I wonder who did the review.
Hopefully not Farhad Mashira.
Ideally, if you're going to do a review, it needs to be external, doesn't it?
Let's hope so. Well, I mean, it's a good change what they're making, and if this is the first change from the actual review, then I think it is a good thing and it's a good start anyway.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think as long as it's done by people that who aren't blind to the club's shortcomings. God's eyes put that's not good for me. I love Dunk. I'm 35. He's my hero. We do need a change, but this will hurt more than anything that's happened for a long time for me. Yeah, I think it's just going to. I think a lot of Everton Twitter tonight and Everton on social media, Everton fans will be sort of a little bit sad about it. But I honestly believe God's eye that he'll be back. He will be back.
I think it's one of those things where it'll hurt a lot more if we just kick him out and he's left in the cold. If he's leaving because he's going to get hopefully a manager's job and that's why he doesn't want to be a set piece coach. Hopefully he wants to be a manager. Then I don't think I'll be upset about him leaving because he's leaving to better his career in a sense. And I'll be wherever he goes, I'll keep an eye on that club and hope that club does well, obviously, unless it's Liverpool. But I think Duncan Ferguson would rather jump off a cliff than join Liverpool. So,
yeah, 100% agree. I don't think he's anywhere near going to touch that. Maybe going back up to Scotland wouldn't be a bad shout for him.
I don't know. Is there anywhere in Scotland that need it? I think Sunderland's a good step because it's a lot of media coverage. He's used to that. He can handle the media coverage, and in those leagues, you need a real motivator. You need someone who can really, boost morale in the squad, who can put the fear of God into you. So, I think it is, hopefully we see Dunk prove himself as a manager. And then if maybe next time when we need a manager, we sit and go, well, Duncan Ferguson's completely earned his stripes now. So now it's time to give him the full job.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be one of those where it'll definitely come back. That is everything, though, we've got time for today. I just want to run through, obviously, the transfer. It looks like Donny van der Beek is going to be probably announced tomorrow. I don't think Frank Lampard is going to be announced tonight unless it is 11 o'clock, which is possible. Realistically, I think the club ideally wanted to wait and announce everything tomorrow. We will, on the Toffee Blues, probably have a live stream tomorrow regarding the transfers and the roundup of deadline day. It looks like it could be quite a busy deadline day for us. Cal, I just want to say thank you once again, mate, for coming on and chatting to me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you for everybody in the comments section, everybody who liked the video. God's Eye, Inky, Erwin, Eugene, the regulars that normally come on, Paul. Thank you all for commenting and keeping us company. And stay safe, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because we do have more stuff coming out regarding tomorrow. And if you've not already, give the stream a like before you leave. That'd be brilliant. But stay